Good afternoon. We want to go over today cover four. We'll break down cover four, the basics of that. So those of you trying to learn, if you got to see our other ones, cover three, cover one, cover two, we're going to break down base cover four. Now, cover four is a coverage that a lot of people play very differently, and depending in the way that I'm going to make it very simple breakdown for you, but there's a lot of different ways to play it. I'll discuss some of the variations, but first I'll go through base cover four. So cover four simply means four deep. Okay, so as opposed to cover two, where you have two people deep, cover four is four people deep. Each person has a quarter of the field. Okay. The advantages of cover four is theoretically it takes away any kind of deep game and forces the team underneath. Now, in high school, cover four can be really effective. In college, it's run religiously and very effective, even at the pro level. And so cover four can be, when you start to add all the variations in, it can be a very effective coverage. But the base premise is quarters coverage. Everyone has a different quarter of the field. All right. Traditionally, it's played where sideline to the hash mark for the cornerback. For strong safety and free safety, they have from the hash mark to middle of the field, free safety, hash mark to the middle of the field, and the other corner has the other quarter of the field, which is from sideline to the hash mark. Now, what's really, really cool about cover four is you can play a lot of different types of movements and coverages with it, where you could theoretically rob dig routes and play over the top, essentially working towards a cover three or a robber technique out of it. You can squeeze on post routes, so you can do, when you get any kind of underneath or anything outside, you could actually squeeze when people run posts and out. So you could squeeze and get double coverage essentially on a wide receiver. If anyone releases, obviously, four verticals, you're in good shape. Okay. And essentially, if offense wants to run any sort of comeback corner situation, a little messy there, comeback corner situation, you're in good shape. Okay. Where is cover four potentially weak against? Crossing routes could be difficult. Okay. Because there's a lot of pressure underneath wise on the linebackers, the outside linebackers, to be able to get into that, what we call a curl to flat area. So you see from a responsibility standpoint, the will is responsible for curl to flat. Okay. As is the Sam linebacker, and I did that of a 4-3 situation here. Okay. Curl to flat. The Mike is essentially responsible for crossers in middle. And depending on how you play it, you can do a lot of different things with their depth, but they're really hard on crossers. They're in a bind. There's a lot of stuff that can be done with sitting down, so it can be tough for them. Like I discussed before, the corners have quarter, deep quarter, and all the way across the field. Obviously, each person has deep quarter. Okay, so now here's where you could really do some good things from a responsibility standpoint. Let me just get this last here, deep quarter. Responsibility standpoint, you could really do some incredibly effective things on quarters coverage. So there are two ways you can basically play it. You can play regular traditional quarters coverage, which the rules for the corner is anything deep quarter you've got, which means that we get someone that pushes your area 10 to 12, you're running with him, and he's yours. If he goes short, runs a hitch, your eyes immediately go inside, and you're looking for something coming back to your area, which you'll then turn and run with, and that's where you get potentially double coverage. Okay. Same thing here. Let's say you get a post route, you're immediately playing it. Free safety sees a flat route here, he goes and plays quarters. Okay. That's the base way of playing quarter coverage. The adaptive way of playing quarter coverage, which is highly effective, is similar philosophy. Declares vertical, you've got him. Okay. If he doesn't declare vertical, okay, he doesn't declare vertical, and the other receiver, okay, when you look inside, doesn't declare vertical, now you push and play down, and now you can essentially get double coverage down low. So that late rally can make quarter coverage incredibly effective combination coverage for you for underneath routes if you have no vertical threat. Okay, so now the other thing is if you get a shallow here, you're looking for a quarter. Now you're getting double coverage and more effectiveness out of your cornerback for both the deep routes and rallying to anything from a shallow standpoint. Okay. That's really important. When you start to mix that component into quarters coverage, you have tremendous effectiveness. Okay. Essentially, you end up getting in a lot of routes double coverage, whether it's underneath or up high. Now, the hardest part, okay, can be what happens if you get some sort of trips combination. I just drew it with the tight end here. You start to get trips combination. Where do your eyes go? It's the same thing. So your corner's eyes are on one. Okay. Your strong safety's eyes are on number two. Your free safety is looking for number two in quarters coverage. So here's one. Two is now in the backfield. Okay. So what happens here? So if you're playing quarters coverage, you understand everybody's deep fourth responsibilities. As soon as this running back blocks, or if it runs a route, your eyes immediately go here. So my beady little eyes, okay, they immediately go over there. So now you see something like this, okay, the Sam will play that, and you see something here. The free safety now can double coverage on that with his quarter. Okay. Now, if the back goes and declares the opposite way, because the free safety's eyes are on number two, he has no more number two, and his number two is removed. Okay, so his number two is removed. So which means essentially that the corner is probably going to get some sort of check. So we get this action. Let me fix this here. We get this action. Okay. The corner now is essentially in a man-to-man situation with help underneath. Okay, on number one. Number two is to the other side. So as you begin to count out, his number two now becomes here to here. So if this receiver declares going this way, now all he's got to do is look at the Y, which would be the third 1, 2, 3 receiver in. Essentially, from the other side becomes number two, and now they push and help in a combination coverage. So if you were to get something like this, the free safety is now helping in that quarters coverage based off responsibilities on trips if the receiver goes away. The free safety can also help very simply, the free safety can also help if declared over here with a shallow route. So now he looks 1, 2. 2 goes away. It's shallow. That's the Sam's responsibility. He looks to number 1. Number 1 goes shallow. That means that the corner and the Sam will be working back towards rallying towards those 2 underneath receivers. Now his eyes immediately could go to the other side from a help standpoint. Okay. So now you get anything. My mouse is doing crazy stuff. So you get anything like this. You have help. And that's where quarters really is effective, why you see it played so often at the college level, why you see a lot of high schools now moving towards quarters coverage. It gives you a lot of flexibility from a coverage standpoint that allows you to manage and deliver on trips, to be able to take away underneath with double teams, especially if you have double shallow routes, and rally to the ball and force a team to beat you by going shallow. Okay. And a lot of teams, high school and college, struggle with being able to go underneath. Now you see with the air raid systems where teams try to take advantage of a team that would play quarters coverage and try to exploit that. And then you immediately can go to different forms of combo coverage to be able to handle it. But strictly out of quarters, most high school teams are going to struggle to cover. I mean, to be able to deliver time and time again on what I call this. This is like the slant and speed out or the bench route. This is theoretically an easy steal for the offense. But if you play quarters the right way where you're rallying to it, essentially what happens is the quarterback has to complete that pass over and over again. And all you have to do is run quarters several times and then all of a sudden play cover 2, and they're in a lot of problems. So that's quarters coverage. It could be a very effective coverage for you. It's a coverage that I love to be able to utilize, especially if a team struggles to throw underneath. For teams that like to go vertical, it's a really great coverage to play against them. There's a lot of flexibility in it. From a blitzing standpoint, you could do all kinds of different things out of this that allows you to utilize the Mike and Will, and you could you could do all kinds of different drop coverages to be able to get different people into the flat. You can bring a defender, and then essentially when you play quarters, because we're talking about if no one shows vertical, you can help on shallow. We can keep everything in front of us and force them to complete it underneath. So gives you a lot of flexibility. That's quarters coverage, cover 4. If you have any questions, like always, you could shoot me an email at david@nucsports.com, or you can just come on Twitter and ask me any questions at Coach Schuman on Twitter. nucsports.com is the website. We'll have that all posted up there. And if you have any questions, reach out anytime. Coach Schuman, signing off.